Okay, hello and welcome to the video. My name is Wade Smith, and in this video, I'm going to rank the top 20, in my view, martial arts or other self defense methods and why they're ranked the way they are. So the worst one will be number 20, and the best one will be number 1. And number 20 is might be a little bit controversial, but it's simply trying to run away from one or more attackers. The reason why this is the worst possible self defense is because it only works if you're a better than average runner, and if your attackers are worse than average runners. So you don't know how good your attackers are at running. So if you try to run away, they might chase you down and beat you up anyway. So for that reason, running away is the worst possible self defense. Uh, the number 19 is going to be unskilled self defense. This means you have no real training whatsoever, certainly no hands on training in self defense, and you in fact try to fight for your life. That would be number 19. Number 18 is going to be uh, if you have, you're like a white belt in at least one martial art, and it doesn't really matter which. Then you would be at number 18 level. All right. So that's going to be like the third worst place to be. All right. And then, so you've actually seen some action movies and some stuff, and and you've learned how to throw a half decent punch, but you never took full time martial arts, let's say, then you would be at number 18 level. And then number 17 level is going to be Gracie Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for street self defense. And the reason I rank it so poorly, even though it's supposedly the second best overall style in MMA, which is actually a misnomer because none of the Okinawan martial arts styles have ever competed in MMA, primarily because they take an oath not to compete in sports. But anyway, for self defense, Gracie Jiu Jitsu is actually not that great because you don't know. This is the first reason you don't know who your first attacker is. All right. I mean, again, secondly, you don't know how many attackers there are. All right. So you don't know who your first attacker is. He might be a better grappler than you are, even though you think you're good. Second, you don't know how many, and most importantly, you don't know how many attackers there are in a street self defense situation. If there's two or more attackers, you're better off running than trying to wrestle with them. And that's the problem with Gracie Jiu Jitsu sticking self defense signs on their dojo. They're not for self defense, they're for one on one combat where you already know a controlled situation with rules limiting what your opponent can do and a judge there, a referee. All right. In a grappling match, even one on one in a street self defense situation, what's wrong with Gracie Jiu Jitsu is the evil attacker doesn't play by your rules. He's going to gouge you in the eyes. He's going to bite you. He's going to knee you in the nuts over and over again. He's going to do whatever it takes to beat your Gracie Jiu Jitsu. All right. That's the first attacker. If there's two attackers, the second guy is going to club you in the head with a beer bottle or a pipe or something. Okay. So don't believe this nonsense that's claiming Gracie Jiu Jitsu is good for self defense. It is not. And that was the one that I listed as number 17, I think. All right. Another one that's pretty bad for street self defense is point sparring karate. It's actually better than Gracie Jiu Jitsu for street self defense, but I listed as 16. It's even weaker than Gracie self defense. If the only thing you've ever done in karate, like the Shotokan instructor up the street does, is teach point sparring, that is not self defense. You are going to suck in a fight when you're used to pulling your punches and not hitting anybody, and you only know a few basic techniques. All right. Another one that may shock you is Muay Thai. Muay Thai only has, basically 8 basic strikes. Jab, cross, elbow, knee, and kick, different types of kicks. What do they call it? Eightfold way. Muay Thai, I put at about, 16, 15-ish, somewhere in there, because let me just give you an example. I'm going to rank Isshinryu Karate pretty high, but not number 1. All right, you'll see why later. But if you take away everything that Muay Thai does not have from Isshinryu Karate or any of the 4 major Okinawan styles of karate, you're left with Muay Thai. What? Wow. All right. So if you take away everything that works and everything that's really good about those 4 styles, you're still left with all of the striking in Muay Thai. So Muay Thai has to be inferior to those styles, you see, vastly inferior, in fact, as you'll see later on. Number 14 we can put in something like Greco-Roman wrestling around number 14. All right, which is basically college and high school wrestling. All right, because once again, you don't want to go to the ground with your first attacker, but it actually works. It's easier to train somebody in that than Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and you actually are not bound to your attacker like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Once you throw them one time and they hit the pavement, you can then try to run away. You see, whereas with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, you're tied up with your opponent, chest to chest a lot of times, and hip to hip, and legs wrapped around them, or vice versa. So once you're on the ground in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, you're kind of stuck there. But in Greco-Roman wrestling, if you throw somebody one time with a good belly-to-belly suplex or belly-to-back suplex, they're going to hit the pavement, and then you can, in fact, run away before they get up if there's more than one attacker. All right. So I give them a 14. So then you have styles like Taekwondo. All right, at least in Taekwondo, it allows all punches and kicks, and you can easily cross train Taekwondo and Muay Thai. So you can put Taekwondo at about a 13 because they're actually better kickers than Muay Thai kickers. They are. They've proven that the Taekwondo kicks are the strongest kicks in the world, or even stronger than the karate styles that I'm going to rank above them for different reasons. So I'm putting Taekwondo at about 13, assuming you're a black belt in Taekwondo. All right. You also have where we have wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling. You can put in Samba there as well because there's a lot of overlap there. All right. Then when we get to styles like Aikido, I'm going to give Aikido about a 12 because we found out that pure striking styles, in fact, beat Aikido when they already know how to defend Aikido. But in a street fight, Aikido, you can throw your first attacker onto the pavement, throw in a kick to the head once he's down, and then still defend yourself against your second attacker. All right. So I'm going to give Aikido a 12 because styles from here on up are going to be styles that have at least a fighting chance against 2 or more attackers, assuming you're a black belt or better. All right. And the gentleman, I forget his name, but the gentleman who trained Brock Lesnar and Ken Shamrock said, for people who think Steven Seagal is a phony, he is not. He said that Aikido does in fact work, especially when someone Steven Seagal's size is doing it, and with his level of expertise, and that it does in fact work for street self-defense. But I'm going to rank Aikido as a 12, which means there's 11 styles above it. Okay. And why is that? Because I'm gonna skip some styles that I'm not exactly sure who to put in here yet. But there's better styles that teach both striking and grappling, as you'll see. So at number 16, there's going to be a 4-way overlap here at number 16, or rather 15. It's going to be Isshinryu Karate, Uchiru Karate, Pure Goju-Ryu, and Pure Shorin-Ryu, the four major traditional Okinawan branches of karate. And the reason why is they all four teach all strikes that the human body can do, and they teach submissions. They teach about 800 total submissions each in those 4 styles of karate. So I'm going to rank them as rather they're going to be number 5 from where number 1 is the best. Number 5 is going to be 5th from the top, in other words. So 20 is the worst, is trying to run away because you don't know if you can actually run faster than your attacker, so that's a bad idea. 1 is the best. Number 5 is the 4 branches of Okinawan karate, of which I studied. All right. Number 4 is going to be Kobudo. All right. Train in all of the traditional weapons and carry a traditional weapon. Okay. Number 3 is actually ninjutsu, which I've never actually trained in the differences of ninjutsu and Okinawan karate. But ninjutsu, because you do all of the fighting techniques of the karate styles, and you have weapons, and you have the stealth mechanics of ninjutsu. So I rank ninjutsu as number 18, which is 3rd from the top. Number 19 is simply train in Mar-a-Lago, Eskrima, and knife stick fighting, and carry you a knife or even carry you a 28-inch Eskrima stick. All right. And if you specialize in Eskrima stick and knife fighting, you're in really good shape in self-defense situation, especially if you carry yourself a decent sized pocket knife that has a hand guard on it so that you can actually do your thrust and your slashing without accidentally cutting yourself. So what is number one? So number one, that was number two, rather, because I counted backwards the way I originally ranked them. I originally had 20 as the best, so I'm getting myself a little confused. I'm sorry. So 16 is the four branches of Okinawan karate. 17 is Kobudo. Or rather, I'm sorry, 5 is the four branches of Okinawan karate when I count this correctly. 4 is Kobudo. 3 is ninjutsu. All right. 2 is knife fighting and stick fighting, Mar-a-Lago Eskrima stick fighting. All right. And then the best martial art technique you can possibly do for street self-defense, especially in the United States, is get you a concealed carry permit and carry a 45. All right, a gun. That is the correct ranking of self-defense techniques. So let me reiterate. All right, remember I got 20 and one screwed up because I was originally ranking them with 20 being better and one being worse. But really, most people rank when they do this, they rank one being the best and 20 being the worst. All right. So the worst thing you can do is run away. The best thing you can do is carry a concealed carry permit and a gun. All right. Running away is only going to work about half the time because if you're an average runner, your attacker might be a better than average runner. So, you're screwed. So unless you're like 75th percentile runner or better, you probably don't even want to try running away. You may as well fight for your life. Because if you're not at least 75 percentile runner, you're not going to dust your attacker. He's probably going to dust you and beat the hell out of you anyway. All right. So the gun is the best self-defense. Okinawan karate is about tier 5. Kobudo, tier 4 or 5. Kobudo is about tier 3. And just special ninjutsu, tier 3 or 2. Specializing in a knife or stick fighting is better than ninjutsu because you're just going to be a specialist at what you really need, a stick or a knife. And then the best possible self-defense is to carry a 45 with a concealed carry permit. All right, thank you very much.